You're a vision-driven entrepreneur. You're tired of trying to go get money from the banks. You're tired of trying to work with venture capital firms. Bought into this whole concept of buying or leasing an SBLC, a standby letter of credit. You want to monetize it. You're sick and tired of all the joker brokers out there, all the fraud that's out there. You want to talk to somebody like me who's actually done a transaction for himself and for clients. I'm going to show you in this video that behind the scenes, never ever seen before, negotiations with a former bank CEO and a lawyer, and how I do it and how I generate capital. You've got to watch this video. Hi, I'm Taimour Zaman from AI, my organization on the YouTube channel. What I do is I decommoditize banking products and services that have been in existence for over 60 years. I do this, I showcase this so the everyday entrepreneur can learn how to access cash from capital markets, from wholesale banking, so that together we can create meaningful change in the world. In full disclosure, I'm not an attorney, so I'm not going to give you any legal advice. I'm certainly not your financial advisor, so I'm not going to give you any financial advice, investment advice, tax advice like that. The purpose of this video is strictly for education and entertainment purposes. You know, about 7 years ago is when I discovered a lot of vision-driven entrepreneurs are stuck in very weird geographies like Tanzania, Bangladesh, and so on. And the guy runs an oil and gas company. He needs $500 million or $300 million or some amount of capital. And his local banker in Tanzania or Bangladesh or wherever these places are just don't have $300 million to give to that guy. They just don't have it. So what these entrepreneurs have figured out is how do they go into the capital markets? How do they go into private banking and buy instruments at a cheaper price than maybe the market price is, and then sell it to a monetizer and keep a profit out of it. The everyday languaging in my market, in my world, is Taimour, we're going to be buying or leasing an instrument. We're going to monetize it, and how can you help us monetize it? Or how can you get us in front of a real issuer like that? The truth is that this is an industry that's full of fraud. Like, not a little of fraud, full of fraud. And I'm one of the fewest people that I've met in my own industry that's actually completed a transaction. And not only have I done it, but I've also helped other clients do it as well. If you've been watching my YouTube channel for a while, you may have seen a few different case studies, customer walkthroughs, and how I've done it for other clients and also for myself. The best analogy I can give you for people that are new to this industry is like this. Imagine real estate. Real estate would be one industry I come from in my previous life. There are a lot of times real estate investors will be able to buy a land or secure a land or secure a contract on a land. And before their money is due to the seller, what they're able to do is flip the land to another investor, to another buyer at a higher profit and keep a margin. If that is true, if that's something that's happening every single day, and I want you to imagine it really is happening every day, people are buying an asset, in this case real estate, and they're able to flip it before the payment is due to a seller for profit. I want to say, if that is true in real estate, I promise you, the same thing is done in buying and leasing banking instruments. There's a lot of providers out there that if you have a relationship with, if you have a credit facility with, you can actually buy an instrument from them or lease the instrument and then be able to monetize it to somebody else who's going to be willing to pay you a price far higher than or a little bit higher than what you paid for it all in all. And I'm going to show you behind the scenes and how I am turning the $1 million into $40 million in 90 to 180 banking days. In full disclosure, this is not a sales pitch. I'm not going to ask you at the end of this video to please call us and give us $1 million. I'm not soliciting business, so please don't hear this the wrong way. This is purely for educational and entertainment purposes. I'm going to show you how I'm helping entrepreneurs do this today and how I've done it for myself. That's really the purpose of this, strictly for educational purposes. Now, in the video that I'm about to show you, you'll see one of my high net worth individual clients. You'll hear a voice. That voice is a voice of an attorney, and then you'll see a bank CEO, a former bank CEO, and how I'm getting into an agreement with him on buying and selling banking instruments and profits that we're going to be making. How I operate my business is I get clients who've never met me before. They have to work with a law firm that I choose. The law firm becomes the custodian, the guardian of their money. Client work puts the money into a law firm of my choice. The law firm represents the client, not me. And then what I do is I go to the law firm that I've chosen, and I show them behind the scenes who I'm working with, how I'm working with, and I get the law firm to feel very comfortable with the transaction and how the capital is secure, what the real returns are, how the returns are going to come out, like that. That's what you're going to see. It's a 15-minute video. You're going to hear the attorney drilling a former bank CEO and how I've structured this transaction. My name is Taimour Zaman, and I hope you find this video helpful.
Do you want to step into this conversation and do your lawyer thing and drill, buy and sell, and all the things you do?
I remain always skeptical. Outsized promised returns, $1 million to $40 million in I don't know, 8 months just doesn't, 6 months doesn't seem real to me, but maybe it is. And first question I always ask is, have you done this before? And if you have, can I see it? So what's the answer to that?
Yeah, we have done it before with a person in who no longer works with us. He used to work for me, and he was part of a group out of the Bahamas. He came to me and said, I'd like to learn about this. So we said, sure. And we introduced him to our people. He did 2 or 3 deals with somebody else, and we never heard from him again. So that was our first arrangement.
This is a guy that used to work for you. I'm asking, have you done this before, running the transaction, making this investment in this particular program? And second point is, can I see it? So what that means is I want to see $1 million coming into whatever account and $40 million going out to that same account.
All right, we've done this twice. We did it with in Monaco, and it was me who put him in touch with the people who did it, and he successfully moved. And we did it with and he successfully moved. He was the head of MetLife. So we're not going to educate people anymore, so they just leave. You see, now your worry is, do we give Hashmi $1 million, right? Do we give him that money?
Just answer the question, can I see it? So if the answer is no, okay, it's fine, no.
No, you can't see it because I can't show you confidential data on other people's financial transactions.
You can redact the bank accounts, you can redact all the proprietary information, you can redact the names. I have no interest in seeing names. If you're telling me—
You just want to see who does it.
No, I want to see $40 million or successive payments of some amounts of money going from a particular place where you're telling me I'm giving it to the same place, and $1 million going in, $40 million going out. Like there has to be some documentation on that, and the client who should be a reference. Like, where can I speak to the client?
No, you're breaking the law if you do that.
Well, not if the client agrees.
Well, no, the client's not going to tell you that. The first question I asked my colleague there, I said, do you want to do this? He said, yeah, we'll do the 10M blocks. We're happy with doing that. He said, but we want to see KYC, blah, 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 before we even proceed. And if we want to talk to them, we'll talk to them. But that's how it's become in the industry now, because nobody wants to give you data anymore on private transactions. You've got to remember, this is a private marketplace. This is not what wholesale banking or retail banks offer. And the only way you're going to experience this is by dipping your toes and getting in. Now, this is why I said I will guarantee your deposit personally on this, because if you dip your toes, fine, we'll do it. If you're not, it's not a problem.
So what does that mean? What's the guarantee?
You're going to get a bank guarantee giving you 100% refund in 180 days if we do not perform in delivering you the 40 million less bank costs, which is going to be about 38.5 million net.
And what's the form of the bank guarantee?
It will be callable anywhere between day 181 to a year. Depends on when you want your money back. I sent Taimour a copy of a simple one I've already done for another group that we're taking on this week.
All right. Well, I mean, that's.
He has a copy. He has a copy. You see, I'm not here for you to lose your money. I'm here for you to bring one deal a month, and then, after the first 3 months, you bring one a month, and I'm happy. You'll be happy as well, because you'll all make good money from this. There's no need for me to go chasing business at this level, and I don't. Today we've had half a dozen inquiries, and I haven't even spoken to them yet. But the reason what I was going to suggest to Taimour is quite simple. I will deal with him and him alone. Who he has behind him is his issue, and where he gets his money from is his issue. I will guarantee Taimour his 1 million directly to him, and I don't care what's behind him, and he can get his money from anywhere he likes. But my guarantee with Taimour, I don't want to deal with 10 people in a group. That's complicated. We've tried that and it hasn't worked well. So this is what I'd rather do. So Taimour comes to me, he signs my client agreement, which says he will not approach my people within 5 years of signing that. He will not try to do business with my people for 5 years. Once that's done, shows me that he has money, then I'll send the bank guarantee. That's it, simple. It just means Taimour and I have to sit down and structure this so everybody's happy. But once you do your first transaction and you see the paperwork, you see, because you, Ellie, are the lawyer for Taimour.
Sorry, more questions. Sure. Are there payouts successively, or all the money comes in month 8? Number one. Question number 2, before you answer it, can you do more than 1 million at a time? And if you could do more than 1 million at a time, are all the returns proportional?
You're only allowed to do it 6 times. That's your limitation. As soon as you sign the contract, etc., you will be dealing not with me, but with the lawyer for the trade platform, and he will explain anything else in detail to you.
Does the money come in monthly, or does it come at the...
Generally, it comes in 3 lots at the end. So you get 40 million, divide it by 3 in 3 consecutive weeks. So you get a third on week 10, a third on week 11, and a third on week 12. So it's all done within 90 days. But my guarantee stands for up to 180 if we don't perform, because, COVID, blah, 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 all the rest of it. I'm tired of hearing about the excuses.
From your experience, is it possible to get some kind of a payment a little bit sooner?
Well, no, because this is a structured buy and sell program. It's not a trade program where they advance on the deposit that you make. That's not what they do. These people buy and sell fixed income securities and make a margin on a daily basis. That's how they do this. What you're talking about is something that we used to do with DBS not long ago. You used to deposit X amount, and they used to give you, in 21 days, they used to give you an introductory fee, which was, can't remember how much because it's a long time ago since we did it, up to 5% of what you put in, and that was a trade. You got that within, 7 days or something, and then they put the rest into trade. But that's a totally different thing. It's not a structured buy-sell program.
Kind of like what I heard from you is for every 1 million, we get 40 million less banking costs. And so if and I were able to give you 4 million, I'm assuming the number would be like $160 million.
Yeah, there's no regulation saying that you can't do 4 transactions at once. You can do up to 6. That is your limitation. You cannot do more than that in one.
Question for you: Is there the contract from the platform? Is it like a set contract? Like, we will pay you $40 million in
Yes.
whatever? Yeah.
Yes, you wouldn't get one contract for 4 million. You'd get 4
contracts. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
And
you'd get separate ones.
Can you tell me now who the counterparty is on that contract?
Well, it depends. Now here's a thing that people don't understand. What's available in the trading markets on securities and fixed income bonds, bank instruments, SBLCs, etc. What's available varies on a daily basis, and who's issuing and who's not doing so. All I can tell you at this moment in time, that the law firm will decide which bank it's going to organize to do this, and they will give you an assurance that they're going to do it. right? So, and they won't release any money to the trade platform without A, your approval, and without B, you seeing who you're going to deal with. Everybody seems to think HSBC, Barclays, blah, 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 are the ones that buy securities. They're not, because they issue their own. They don't want to buy tier 2, tier 3, tier A minus paper. They have their own paper, so they don't want to do that. So the people who do these kinds of transactions are usually in the top 50 banks, because somebody in Bank of Indonesia or somebody, they will give you a good margin on an SBLC or something. Whereas you go to HSBC, they'll discount it. The people in Indonesia or India or whatever, they may say, okay, we'll buy that X price without discounting it too much. So all this gets put into place. So once you send the paperwork, once it goes into the lawyer, we see who's operating there at that moment. There's 40 different banks involved. So it could be any one of the 40, or it could be a combination of the 40. You'll be advised, and then you say, okay, we're going to do this. But if you think it's HSBC and Barclays and people like that who do this, very rarely do they do this. This is a different marketplace for them. But it doesn't mean to say they won't get involved, but very rarely do they buy and sell instruments from each other, because they don't sell to each other.
Things make sense. It's the details really that push stuff for us, as you know. My question is simply, okay, what do we do if we want to move ahead? Like, what do we do next?
I think I sent you the paperwork regarding that. So you just need to fill out the paperwork, show the proof of funds, and then give that to Taimour. I'll give Taimour assurance that he will get a guarantee, and that's it. We'll move forward.
We are very new with the SBLC process. What we are going through right now with a lot of our customers, an option of paying out to us. We had only a blur knowledge of what SBLCs and whatever Google has shown us. But after talking to you, discussing with you, we have come to know exactly how SBLC works and what are the best possible ways of making or getting more. How can we leverage more on that SBLC?
And getting out of it right now are the different ways in order to utilize and leverage, what I understood before. Now I understand even more. So, talking to Taimour just for a short amount of time, he's given me other avenues to use, and I will use those.
After being trying to get involved with SBLCs and being involved in other transactions that didn't work out so well, it's just by an act of God, I ended up coming across your content. And I got to say, I ate it and devoured it ferociously for, I think, like 42 videos, some of them several times over. And I won't say which ones, because I don't want to disclose other parties involved in those videos, especially the client testimonials, your SBLC knowledge, and mirroring of funds. I just was very impressed with all of that. So I'm just going to say thank you already for allowing me this opportunity.
My pleasure.